Welcome back, readers, to The Secret Lake. Today we're on Chapter 9, The Dance of the Moles. I knew it, she squealed. I knew it. I told Lucy the moles must have special powers, but she didn't believe me. And I'm glad to hear you're not the thief, Jack. Otherwise, I'd have to call Papa. She gave him a sweet smile, then gathered up her nightgown. But quick, I'd better get you out of here. Papa might wake, and there's soot everywhere. It was 2:30 by Stella's watch as they emerged into the moonlight. Emma had slipped on a pair of ankle boots and donned an extremely fine-looking coat over her nightdress. "Tell me more about the moles," she said, brushing back her dark ringlets as they trooped across the lawn towards the trees. "Well, what does you already know?" "Not much, except I've seen them loads of times from my bedroom window in the night, all scuttling in a circle in the moonlight. At first I thought it was a dream, but finally I told Lucy about them, and we planned a mole hunt for tonight, except she's forgotten, of course. Dear silly Lucy." They all sat down under a tree out of sight of the houses and tucked into the food. Between them they told Emma about the time tunnel, about Jack's father being wrongly accused, and Jack coming to get his tools, and about Crawley acting suspiciously in the drawing room. "Oh dear, Jack, I am sorry. Papa can be so beastly sometimes." "So you think Crawley took the silver?" Jack nodded solemnly. Emma frowned deeply. "You know I've always thought there was something strange about him. I told Sophie, but of course she said it was just my childish imagination. Sophie can be such a bore sometimes." She shook her head disapprovingly. "Don't you go worrying about what your sister says Jack, laughing. "She obviously ain't one of the chosen few." "What do you mean by that?" Emma gave Jack a puzzled look. "Well," said Jack, "looks like the moles on you appears for some folks, and it looks like we's the ones who extra special round here." "Must have appeared for Harry, too," piped up Tom. "What's Harry got to do with this?" said Emma quickly. "Everything," said Stella, smiling. "He's why we came here in the first place." "My Harry?" said Emma, sitting back. "Emma, does Harry ever go missing?" said Stella slowly. Immediately Emma's face lit up. "Oh, all the time. Mamma finds it so tiresome, but he always comes back, without fail. Dearest Harry, we were born for each other." Stella suddenly kneeled up. "Look, over there," she whispered. They all turned and gazed out to the lawn. Under the silver light of the moon a group of 4 moles scuttled round and round, forming a tight circle. The children sat transfixed while the moles continued their ritual for about a minute before vanishing right before their eyes. "Hopefully that means the time tunnel's ready," said Jack quickly. "We better get going. I'll row you over." They scrambled to their feet. Emma glanced across the houses, then quickly back at the children. "I'm coming with you," she said firmly. "Lucy or no Lucy." "Brilliant," said Stella. "And I'll tell my parents you're a neighbor's niece from Australia and you've come to visit for the day." Suddenly she realized how much she'd miss having a true friend in her new home. Emma would help fill the gap, and they'd be able to visit each other back and forth. At that moment a door slammed over by the houses. Within seconds men's voices and the crack of dry twigs underfoot echoed around the garden. "Emma, Emma, where are you? Are you out there? Crawley, you go that way." "It's Papa," gasped Emma, looking terrified. "Quick, you must go." Tom immediately turned and started running towards the woods. "Emma, darling, are you out there?" Mrs. Gladstone's anxious calls had joined the chorus. "Come on, Stella, we must go," said Jack. "Run, Stella, go." Emma's voice was quivering as her eyes filled with tears. "I'm coming, Papa," she shouted without moving. "It was only Harry." "Let's go, Stella," said Jack. Stella stared into Emma's eyes. Was their adventure really ending so soon? "Come on, will you? The tunnel won't wait forever." Jack was tugging at Stella's sleeve, and now as his words echoed in his ears she found herself glancing, as if in slow motion, from Emma to a tall figure of a man racing across the lawn towards them. "You get back! I'll eat 'em off!" shouted Jack. And before Stella could react he had pushed past her and dashed out into path of Henry Gladstone. "It's the boy!" roared Mr. Gladstone. "I'm going after him. Emma's here." Stella glanced back at Emma. "Find the tunnel. Come and see us," she whispered, holding back her tears, and then she turned and ran towards the trees. Tom and Stella entered the wood breathless. Stella flicked on her torch as they crashed through the branches in a half run. "Don't worry, Tom, we'll be home soon," she said, panting. "But what about Jack?" cried Tom, already slowing down. "We can't leave him. They'll catch him." "He'll be fine. He'll hide up a tree," Stella called uncertainly over her shoulder. Just then a child's pained scream filled the night air and echoed eerily around the treetops. Tom halted in his tracks. "That was Jack," he shouted. "He's been caught, Stella. Jack's been caught." Stella stopped and turned, resting her hand on her chest. Her heart was pounding so heavily she could feel it against her palm. She swallowed hard as she fought back tears. "There's nothing we can do, Tom," she said, her voice breaking. "We must go home." But Tom had other ideas and immediately turned and started heading back towards the clearing. Stella raced after him. "Come back, Tom. Come back, will you? The tunnel won't wait, you know. Do you want to get stuck here forever?" "They'll beat him," screamed Tom. "They'll lock him in some horrible child's prison. That's what they do here. We can't leave him, Stell. We can't." Stella grabbed Tom's arm and started dragging him backwards. "Tom, it's too dangerous. If they beat Jack, they'll beat us too. We'll end up in prison." Tears were suddenly streaming down her cheeks. The voices in the garden were drawing nearer. "Let's go, Tom. Let's go." Seconds later, they were fleeing through the trees. The children rode back in silence. A low mist hung over the water, dampening their downtrodden spirits further. In her mind, Stella battled with images of whippings and beatings. Crawley had it in for Jack, and that she was sure. Why, oh, why had she lingered in the lawn? She sighed deeply, but said nothing. Tom stared despondently at the seat where Jack had sat earlier. They hadn't even had a chance to say goodbye. Slowly he started to sob. "You first," said Stella quietly as she gave Tom a leg up to the first nodule on the tree. The higher they climbed, the darker the air all around them became, and very soon the dense branches had completely blotted out the light of the moon. Stella flicked on her torch again. Moments later, Tom located the first rung of the ladder, and now, as he climbed towards the light source in silence, all he could think about was coming back down and rescuing Jack. Join us next time for Chapter 10.